Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're going into a story that it really starts with something simple. A family moves to a new town, but it ends with a kind of horror that just rips the foundation of a community apart.
We're going to unpack how a symbol of childhood freedom, a secret treehouse, becomes the site of something truly monstrous.
And this story is all about contrast, isn't it? The quiet, peaceful, small town versus what's actually hiding right under the surface.
Exactly. It kicks off immediately with the setting. You have this 13-year-old kid who's just been uprooted from his entire life in Boston.
All that noise, the chaos, the energy of a big city.
Yeah, and he's dropped into a place called Hollow Brook, which is described as being, well, almost frozen in time.
I can just imagine the shock. Main Street is probably, what, 3 shops and a post office?
That's about it. And for him, the first few days are just this crushing silence. No Wi-Fi. He's literally counting the cracks in his ceiling, listening to cicadas. That's his whole world.
And that kind of isolation, especially for a teenager, it creates this real, this urgent need to connect with someone, anyone.
Which he does. He finds the local kids, Ethan, who's the leader, Jake, the stocky, practical one, and Will, who's sort of the lanky, quiet observer.
And they bond instantly over just being bored.
Right. And they offer him the one thing he's probably been craving. A secret. They hit him with that classic kid challenge. You ever had a real hideout before?
And of course he hasn't. Not like this.
No.
This hideout was, it was the dream. It's this perfect treehouse high up in a huge old oak tree. Weathered, sure, but the solid.
But you couldn't just walk up to it. You had to know the way.
Exactly. They ditched their bikes on this dirt road, go the rest of the way on foot. They called it going off the grid.
Yeah.
That secrecy was everything.
And you have to understand, this place wasn't just a shelter. It was their own country. The inside says it all carved initials. Camping chairs, their stash of Doritos. Their rations, yeah. So it was where they debated the big stuff, Batman versus Spider-Man, aliens, all of it. It was a true sanctuary.
But even inside that bubble, the real world was, it was bleeding through. The narrator describes this heavy energy hanging over the whole town.
And that was because of Sarah, the missing girl.
Her face was on flyers everywhere, right? Last seen Hollow Brook Elementary. A constant, fading reminder that something was wrong.
And the adults, their response was a lockdown. A strict 9 p.m. curfew for every kid in town. Every parent suddenly becomes a warden.
Which, from the boys' perspective, was just ridiculous.
Completely. They saw their parents as being paranoid. They were convinced they were practically grown-ups, and their treehouse, their safe space, proved they didn't need those rules.
That denial is so key here. The feeling that, bad things happen somewhere else. Not in our quiet little town, not to us.
It made them complacent. Dangerously so.
And that leads them right to the edge. They start pushing the curfew, staying out a little later each time. Nothing happens. So, of course, Ethan suggests the ultimate test.
Let's stay the whole night.
The ultimate challenge. Let's prove there's nothing out here to be afraid of.
But before we get to that night, we have to talk about a specific person. The one who makes this all so much worse. Mr. Harris.
Right. If most adults were a source of anxiety, Mr. Harris was the complete opposite.
He was the safe adult, the one everyone trusted. Tall guy, broad shoulders, big friendly mustache. He worked at the school.
And the kids loved him. He was the guy who actually listened. He'd even sneak them candy. Just the picture of a kind, reliable community figure.
Which raises this deeply unsettling question. What happens when the person everyone looks to for safety is actually the source of the danger?
His kindness was the perfect camouflage.
The perfect camouflage. He was so woven into the town's fabric of trust that no one would ever look his way.
It just makes what happens next feel so much heavier. So the night comes, the narrator sneaks out, heart pounding, grabs his sleeping bag. You can just feel that mix of fear and excitement. He pedals down the dark street to meet the others. This isn't just breaking a rule, it's a secret mission.
They make the climb up into the treehouse, the old boards creaking, and for a while it's perfect. Snacks, cards, ghost stories.
He says it felt safe beyond words. Their own little pocket of the universe, sealed off from all the adult fears.
Until a sound breaks through, a sound that just doesn't belong.
And it's not just any engine, it's a deep rumble. An old engine, heavy, poorly maintained, and then headlights cut through the floorboards.
Yeah, throwing these long, stretching shadows across their faces.
And they know instantly this is not one of their parents' cars. This truck is old, it's dented, it's covered in dust.
And it's not staying on the road. It pulls right up and stops.
Directly beneath them.
The engine cuts.
Right.
And then just nothing. Utter silence.
A terrifying, loaded silence. And then they hear it. A slow, deliberate crunch of footsteps on the dirt below.
Oh, that's chilling.
Whoever this is, they aren't lost. They know exactly where they're going. And the boys are just frozen up there as they hear a foot hit the first rung of the ladder. Then the second.
Slow, purposeful, just coming up towards them.
Then a voice, a low voice, and it's familiar.
And as they're huddled there, holding their breath, a head pushes up through the trap door, and the man just says, "What the hell?" He's completely surprised to see them.
But that surprise, it changes. The narrator describes it perfectly. It shifts from shock to this slow realization, like he's just been handed something he wasn't expecting, but that he really, really wanted.
And that look, that predatory shift, it just triggers pure instinct.
No thought, just a primal need to get away. The narrator is the first one to move. He just throws himself out the window.
Hits the ground, and then chaos. Absolute chaos.
Ethan screams as he falls, and the man grabs for his ankle. There's this sickening crack as his leg just twists. An awful sound.
Jake tries to help him, but the man is already scrambling down the ladder after them.
And the narrator has to make this impossible choice.
He runs. He just runs. Doesn't look back. Branches are hitting his face. He can hear Ethan screaming behind him, and he just runs for home. He has to get to a phone.
And just like that, the sanctuary is gone. It's replaced by flashing red and blue lights cutting through the woods. The safest place in their world becomes the most terrifying.
The aftermath is just devastating. They find Jake and Will alive, but totally shaken, and then they carry Ethan out on a stretcher. His face is white, his leg bent at this horrible angle.
But the full truth, the absolute horror of it all, that doesn't come out for a few days.
The police find the truck, the old dented truck half sunk in a creek.
And inside, wrapped in plastic, under a pile of tarps, is Sarah's body. She'd been there for weeks.
And this is the final blow, the part that destroys everything.
The truck's registration. It leads them straight back to its owner, Mr. Harris.
The kind man, the friendly face at school.
The killer. The narrator says hearing that name felt like having his stomach ripped out of his body. It wasn't just fear of a monster. It was the realization that their entire world, their system of trust, was a lie.
The town's innocence was just annihilated in that moment. That curfew wasn't paranoia anymore. It was a terrifyingly real necessity.
And the friendships shattered. He says he never saw Ethan, Jake, or Will at school after. The event just blew their lives apart.
It's just, the irony is so brutal. The one place they went to prove they were safe and independent from adult fears
is the exact spot where they stumble on to the town's darkest secret. Guarded by the one person they were all taught to trust, without question.
It makes you think.
It does. And it leaves you with this really unsettling question to chew on. When danger can so easily wear the mask of familiarity, of warmth and kindness, how can you ever really spot the warning signs? Especially when you're in a place that's supposed to be your sanctuary. What can you actually trust?
A truly chilling thought. Thank you for joining us today. Keep questioning what lies beneath the surface. We'll see you next time on The Deep Dive.